Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Crimson and in this video we are going to be continuing and finishing our look through of the art of Metal Gear Solid V The Phantom Pain. So where we left off last time was looking at some mother base structures, so let us continue. And like I said at the end of that video, I am literally recording this seconds after that video ended. So here is another platform from Mother Base. I'm not sure what this purpose of this structure is, but here are some of the smaller buildings on top. This is another picture of a structure, but it has a more white looking finish to the exterior of the building. And then here we have Venom Snake kind of looking off into the distance, admiring the sky and the sea from one of the Mother Base platforms. Here is some more Mother Base stuff. So this looks like a very kind of in-depth, almost like schematic look at Mother Base. This is a picture of the top of one of these structures. This actually looks like it's almost like a resting point between going to the different other main different platforms as it takes so long. So it makes sense to kind of have like a little resting point where someone who's walked 3 hours can kind of stop, take a break, have something to eat, have a little sleep, and then get going again. Down here, I'm not exactly sure what this is, but I believe this is also part of Mother Base. So these are the rules on Mother Base. So we have no flash, so basically no cameras, do not throw things, no smoking, no guns except trank guns, no pets, Fulton okay. So, I actually don't believe these are from Mother Base because all of these seem extremely contradictory. You know, smoking, the boss smokes, guns, we're all soldiers, no pets, we have D-Dog and Fulton okay. So, they're seemingly fine with you Fultoning your fellow PMC members, but God forbid you throw a empty can of Sprite or something. I don't know where this is meant to be, but I don't think this is Mother Base. Over here just show some of the living quarters inside of Mother Base. Here is the inside of one of the buildings that has been essentially become a quarantine zone. One of the bits in the very late game is there is a massive plague that goes around through the Mother Base, and all of the people are confined to this building and there is no cure for it. So Big Boss takes it upon himself to go in and essentially try and rescue the medic who went in, but he finds out that the medic has been infected, and him and Kaz essentially realize that, hey, there's no way to save these people, and the only way to save the non-infected people is to kill them all. So Big Boss does this, and it is one of the saddest moments in the game. Some enemies beg for their life, some people beg for their life, some people are completely fine with it. The bit that actually made me start to sob is you enter a room and there's about 7 men in it, I believe. Actually, I think it's like 5 men, 2 women. And they're like, we support you all the way, boss. And they stand there and they just salute. And the whole time they are humming the Peace Walker main song, which is so sad. and despite you killing them, they do not stop humming, and they do not move, and they do not flinch. So it is one of the most emotional gut punches in any game, especially in this. This just shows more architecture for Mother Base, you know, some of the platforms, some of the walkways, some of the hero pads. I'm trying to get through the Mother Base stuff as quick as I can. Okay, so here are the rules for Mother Base. Actually, I just realized something. So let me go back a little bit. Where was it? So this, I had mentioned previously that if you Fulton enough types of animals, you get a zoo platform. So these are the rules for being at the Mother Base zoo, as it said. It even says sheep here. So that makes sense why, you know, no flashing lights, no throwing things at the animals, no smoking, no guns, no pets, and, you know, all that stuff. So this is technically on Mother Base, but this only applies to the zoo platform and not Mother Base as a whole. However, these are based in Mother Base totally. So we start off, we're going to go from top to bottom, going from left to right. So we have work in progress. Please pardon the inconvenience. Safety comes first. Thank you for your cooperation. And then we have keep out. And then the next one is work in progress. Please pardon the inconvenience with a man shoveling something. Another one says caution under destruction with a man being hit by 2 fallen crates. Then we have a work in progress, pardon our dust for the inconvenience, with the Diamond Dog logo with a construction hat and a pickaxe. Then we have another one of danger, fall hazard, hanging from ledges saves lives. So this is a picture of a man falling into shark-infested waters. Next, it says safety first, precautions take seconds, injuries take lives, showing a seemingly little girl with a hurt finger. Next, it says safety first, same thing, prejudications are seconds, injuries are for life. So this person has severe head damage, a broken left arm, and a broken right foot and shin. These are also some pictures that we find throughout Mother Base. I believe these posters only appear if you have a very high chaos rating in the game. So this one says Big Boss is watching you. This is one says Big Boss is watching you. Same thing, except this one actually has Big Boss's face, and this one has the Diamond Dog logo. And then here it just says Big Boss is watching you. What's cool about Metal Gear Solid 5, and it never tells you this, is it has a hidden morality system. So the way it works is Big Boss has a massive piece of shrapnel in his head at this point, or Venom Snake does, sorry. So, the way the system works is, since the boss says that he's already a devil based on having a horn, the less people you kill, the less the horn will grow. If you don't kill anyone, the horn gets very, very small. If you do kill people, the horn gets increasingly larger, and if you kill absolutely everyone, the horn becomes massive. So that's, I believe it is in the high chaos playthroughs where you are fully evil, where doing stuff, you know, like killing civilians, killing Quiet, killing D-Dog, stuff like that. Then these posters go up because they want to make sure that the soldiers are terrified of the boss. So here is a schematic. Here is some merchandise. that I'm assuming the people in Mother Base use. So we have an I Heart DD Diamond Dogs, and then We Are Diamond Dogs with the Diamond Dog logo. Here it shows some different cups that are like this. And fun fact, I actually have this coffee cup. This one here, I have the coffee cup of, and I cherish it. I drink from it every single day. And by the way, the mug itself is really, really good, and it's a really good size mug, so it's not just like a shitty little mug that's like, oh, it has a cool picture on it. It's actually a really good coffee mug. So here we have some interesting pictures. So this is the two regional maps of as seen from above. So this is the Afghanistan terrain, and this is the African terrain. This is the boss in Afghanistan going through some ruins. And this looks like at the start of the game, right, with the cutscene. So we can see him on his horse here. Why do these pages keep getting stuck? So here we have the boss looking on to a stronghold, or a little base. This base, I remember this mission well, this base stands in the way of a much larger base behind it. And we have this bridge here, so we have multiple options. You know, we can shoot them from a distance, we can sneak our way across the bridge, we can climb on the side of the bridge, we can go under the bridge, we can find a completely other way around, and all that. So many options for just a simple bridge encounter, which is why I love this game so much. I know a lot of people say it's not the best story-wise, but gameplay-wise, it is far and above the rest, even my beloved Peace Walker. Up here, we have some more pictures of some bases, or some cave systems that have been turned into bases. Over here, same thing, we have a cave system, which has become some kind of base. This is a house where some enemies capture Quiet and they bring her there. However, while she is being tortured, she eventually manages to overpower her captors and kill them easily. Quiet is not a woman that you would want to mess with. So we have some more tapestries here, which is very cool. I'm not sure what this is. This maybe looks like a regional map, or like a map of the world, but I can't really tell what it is. So here we have a sketch of one of the bases that we find. So we have some barracks, we have some artillery cannons here, and stuff like that. This is a very similar base. This is at night, with the rain lashing down, a spotlight, and a man at a computer, with Snake coming up behind him. I believe this is actually Huey Emmerich, not knowing that Snake is behind him. So this is the AI pod, which was based on Huey's wife and Otacon's mother, and Huey, being the absolute monster that he is, essentially trapped his wife in there, and she died of like starvation or thirst or something. The whole time he was in his office in the same room working. And he did this because his wife wanted to move away with baby Hal, aka Otacon, and he would not allow this, so he decided to lock her up. And the whole time, she was begging for her life. And this surely impacted the AI. Here we have some different types of satellites, which are really interesting. Here is the entrance to a base. I believe this is in Afghanistan. You can see that some of the enemies here have D-walkers, so again, very dangerous. Here is some more concept art of Big Boss kind of scoping the area out and then eventually coming across this, which is this massive canyon-like structure. So here we have a lot of different pictures. I'm not sure what is going on here, but this looks like a missile silo. And these look like corridors and passageways. I believe this is actually, oh yes, this is. So this is the mission where we assault a base run by an American PMC called XOF. XOF. If you have played the game or are familiar with my other episodes, you know that I've mentioned XOF a lot. So this is our first time in the game where we are fighting Americans. We have fought Africans and we have fought Russians and some Mujahideen, but this is the first time where we fight Americans. It's jarring the first time you hear people speaking English over the comms, as you're so used to hearing them speak in their native tongues. So we sneak our way through here. Our goal is to get the Skullface, who is at the top of this section. So we sneak our way through past guards, snipers. We climb our way over the tower, stay hidden. And yeah, if you get spotted here, it's very, very difficult. And it's almost better to just let yourself die, honestly. Here, I can't really tell what's happening. It looks like, let's see, what does it look like? I honestly can't tell what's going on in any of these. If anyone knows, please do let me know. I cannot make out anything. This looks to be some kind of quadruped tank. Other than that, though, I cannot tell for the life of me. So this is a little canister that is holding the strains of the vocal cord parasite, which attacks the speakers of the English language. We end up getting this from Skullface. However, what is scary is once we retrieve it, we see that one of the files is missing. So someone has taken this, which is very, very scary. However, the other two specimens are now in the hands of Diamond Dogs. Here we have some more pictures of above, of different compounds and different areas. I don't know exactly what locations these are meant to be specifically, but very cool nonetheless. Here again we have some artwork. So we have what looks like to be some, this looks like Africa here and here. Same with this one here. And then, actually I think these might all be Africa, maybe. I'm not sure. None of these places look familiar to me. Maybe that's just because I'm recording this at like 4 a.m. and I have not slept for 40 hours. But I'm drawing a blank on where these locations are meant to be. So this is us assaulting one of the facilities also run by XOF. We make our way through, we clear them out, no problem, business as usual. And this is another structure that we find. Not as heavily fortified or fortificated, but there is a guard in the tower somewhere here, I believe. So taking him out first. At this point in the game, we should have a Trank sniper rifle, or at least Quiet should have a Trank sniper rifle, which is silenced, and yeah, using that to take him out is your best course of action. So here is some more environments. So here is Afghanistan with a crashed plane. Here is Africa with some of its lush trees and kind of jungles and some of its buildings where people live, and there's 3 helicopters flying off in the distance. This looks like this is the part of Africa where we infiltrate to rescue those child slaves that we mentioned earlier. So they were obviously being used for manual labor, as this place looks to be some kind of quarry. Here, I can't tell exactly what's happening here. This does look like Africa. This might actually be the same area as we just talked about here. But we have venom snakes sneaking up on these 2 people here. Here is just some of the different stop signs and signs you see on the road. Obviously, they're in different languages. And here are some more bases and strongholds, some of which have been overtaken by the elements, which is very cool. I always love seeing that stuff in games. Moving on. So here we have a lot going on. So we have, I believe this is another picture of the boss entering the room where Code Talker is being kept. And then down here we have the boss fireman carrying Code Talker out of this base and bringing him back to Mother Base. Over here we have a bunch of different militaries' emblems and patches and logos, all types of warning labels in different languages, which is really cool. You come across these. You usually find these on the outskirts of some enemy encampments. And then here we have, let's see, so this is after we have extracted Code Talker. So this is the helicopter that we are flying back to Mother Base in, gets hit by a massive storm caused by the Skull team. And they essentially bring the helicopter down, killing the pilot, and we have to hold them off until our trusty pilot Pequod has arrived. Pequod is, if you have played the game, everyone loves Pequod because he is your absolute bro. No matter what situation you're in, he will always come and pick you up. He is for sure a ride or die friend. This is a really cool picture that we see in game. So this took place before the events of Phantom Pain. This took place during, if not before, the events of Peace Walker. So it doesn't show the full picture here. There's about 5 people normally, but it shows Big Boss and Kazuhira Miller and the pilot. I don't think this is meant to be Pequod, but still a very skilled pilot. And there's supposed to be some more soldiers here. So Quiet is here in her way she's rendered in the game, and I mentioned that I would explain what Quiet's deal is. And since we're near the end of the book, I'll explain that. So she has essentially fallen in love with the boss. She was sent to Mother Base, meant to be captured and sent to Mother Base to infect them with the English parasite cord. However, she does not do this due to her falling in love with the boss. During the mission where Quiet runs off and gets captured, you have to defend a stronghold with Quiet for up to about 5 minutes. Actually, no, sorry, I think it's about 9 or 10 minutes with waves and waves of tanks coming at you. So you want to have your heavy armor, your rocket launchers, your grenade launchers, and all of your airstrikes available. And at the end, you guys both survive. However, you are then trapped in a sandstorm. So Pequod is unable to see you. I believe that's actually what this is depicting here, is Pequod coming in trying to look for the boss. So as you two are escaping, the unbelievable happens. The boss is bitten by a extremely poisonous snake, and the boss immediately collapses and is unable to talk or move or do anything. So meanwhile, the radio chatter is going mental, with Pequod saying like, hey, boss, if you're down there, you need to let me know where you are. Your vital signs are low. We need to pick you up and bring you back to base. And Quiet, since she's infected with the vocal cord parasite, if she speaks English, that's her essentially condemning herself to die. So she picks up the radio and she answers first in Navajo. I believe it's Navajo, which for those of you who don't know, is the Navajo are a tribe of indigenous people in America. And Pequod doesn't understand what's going on. He doesn't understand what's being said. So she eventually decides that she is going to speak English and save the boss, but knowing full well that she is essentially now a dead woman walking. So she says, we're here, these are our coordinates, the boss is very wounded, and all that stuff. And after she says this, she runs off. Once you wake up, you're able to explore and find a little letter from Quiet explaining the whole thing, which is very sad. So she essentially sacrificed her own life to give Venom Snake another chance at life. And yeah, I was personally very touched by this scene. So next up is the iconography section. Here we have a black and white double spread of a lot of the different items in the game. So we're going to go over these quickly. We just have a bunch of the different vehicles here. Very high-powered tank. 2 different types of turrets. I believe one of these is AA. We have a helicopter. This is very similar to the helicopter that we use. We have D-Walker and a hovering drone. Then we have the cardboard box, night vision goggles, can't remember what this is, your iDroid, your phantom cigar, your pills to make yourself not shake as much. You have your phantom cigar, your Fulton, your prosthetic arm, your bandana, and then these 3 down here are the different types of masks that the Mother Base soldiers wear. So here we have a lot of the different camos that we can equip for our uniforms and gear and clothing going into battle. It is a very similar system to the camouflage system implemented and introduced in Metal Gear Solid 3. However, there is one big difference, and that is in Metal Gear Solid 3, you could change your camo on the fly. So you could go from woodland, and then if you went into a building, you could change to a gray camo. And then if you went from the building into a desert area, you could change into a desert camo. All in just the menus. However, in Metal Gear Solid V, you cannot do this. You have to select your camo and your outfit, so the special outfits as well, such as the sneaking suit and the flak jacket. But you have to select all of these before you go into the mission. So you really have to make sure that you choose the correct camo. So for example, if you are deciding to do a mission at night in, let's say, Afghanistan, you might see this camo pattern here and think, oh, this will be great for sneaking around at night and sneaking around some of the enemy stronghold buildings. However, if then something happens and the mission ends up taking way too long and the sun ends up coming up, you are now completely visible. You stand out like a sore thumb. Everyone can see you. So it's a really cool mechanic, and it just adds another layer of having to plan out your loadout to the T before each mission. And next up, we have a double spread here. Let me just fix it so that there's no glare, sorry. So here we have a lot of the logos for a lot, if not most, of the factions seen in Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain. So we start off with FOX, which was kind of the successor unit to Foxhound. Then we have XOF, which is essentially the antithesis of FOX. Then we have the MSF logo. This was Big Boss's PMC that he founded with Miller in Peace Walker, which ends up being destroyed in Ground Zeroes. And fun fact, I actually have the MSF logo, this here, tattooed on me, because I'm such a big Metal Gear fan, and also because I am stupid, but I don't care, I love it. Over here we have the Diamond Dogs insignia, so this is the PMC that we run in the Phantom Pain. This is Outer Heaven, so this is the PMC group that we fight as Solid Snake in the original Metal Gear game. Not Metal Gear Solid, just Metal Gear. And this is a PMC run by Venom Snake, aka Big Boss. So it's insinuated that Diamond Dogs essentially became Outer Heaven. Next we have Foxhound, which is an extremely skilled unit. This is also featured in the original Metal Gear games. Snake is Solid Snake is part of Foxhound, and so is Gray Fox, aka Frank Yeager, is also part of Foxhound in the original Metal Gear game. I believe it's on the SNES. I actually cannot remember what console the original Metal Gear game is on. If anyone knows, please correct me. And it sucks because the sequel, Metal Gear 2, did not release outside of Japan. I believe you can buy it now, but back when it came out, if you lived outside of Japan, which I do, I live in Europe, I had zero access to it, which was awful. So here we have some more logos for some various factions. We have the CFA. Here's 2 logos for them here, and more down here with some medals. Then we also have the Rogue Coyote insignia and stuff. I don't actually remember where these come from. I believe that these are some of the PMCs that are maybe some of the American PMCs that we encounter in the game. And similar down here, this is Zero Risk Security. So Zero Risk Security is for sure a PMC that we have to deal with in the game. And they are mostly Americans. So I'm assuming that the CFA and the Rogue Coyote are also similar on being American PMCs. I might be wrong about that, but if I believe that's the case. If I am wrong, please correct me. Okay, let's move on. So next we'll start with the picture first. We have this image here of the boss with a dog. This is not Dee Dee, this is more of a, I'm not sure what kind of breed it looks like, but it is an actual dog rather than a wolf, and it looks very similar to the dog of the Diamond Dogs logo. So this is the Art of Metal Gear Solid, the Kingdom of the Flies. if you guys are not familiar with the whole development drama with Metal Gear Solid V, the game is quite literally unfinished. The last third of the game was cut from the game due to Kojima cutting ties with Konami at this time during the game's development. So Konami basically shut him out. So Kingdom of the Flies is a bit of information that we have regarding the lost chapters. The collector's edition, which I have, comes with a little CD where you can watch some of the cutscenes from the missing chapters. So here we have some Diamond Dog soldiers in gas masks and hazmat suits, but also in tactical gear. To sum it up, at the end of the game, Eli steals Sahelanthropus and flies off, taking with him all of the African children that we rescue. And then what was supposed to happen was Big Boss and the rest of the PMC were meant to follow and hunt them down. So these are some of the soldiers that would go and embark on that mission. This place would take place on a tropical island. So as you guys can see here, this is the island itself. We have a mixture of bright beaches, thick jungles, tall cliffs, dark ravines. This area, so this would have been a really cool area to explore in the final hours of the game. However, it is lost to time. Here is some more concept art of it, of Big Boss going through the jungle. We can see Big Boss standing here looking on at Sahelanthropus. Here's another picture of Sahelanthropus here, holding his sword. And then there's just a bunch of different pictures here showing what looks like a battle. So this picture here, for example, shows a helicopter firing a missile barrage at Sahelanthropus with Eli piloting it. This just goes to show you that Eli and Psychomantis are a very good team, because it is together that they're able to pilot Sahelanthropus despite being very young. So obviously this helicopter's attack doesn't work, and I'm sure the helicopter gets destroyed at some point. And that is the end of the book, everyone. So I hope you enjoyed this book as much as I enjoyed making this video. Someday the world will no longer need us. No need for the gun, nor the hand to pull the trigger. Another mission, right, boss? So yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making this video. Like I said at the very start of this book series, I never thought I would own this book. And being a huge Metal Gear Solid fan, and also having my hands on this book, just having an excuse to talk about it for a couple hours was so worth it. So thank you so much. I also just want to give a very big shout out to my 2 Patreon supporters. So thank you, Slice of Life for Life, and thank you, Mary the Otaku. Your support means the absolute world to me. If you are watching this video while trying to go to sleep or resting, I would recommend turning the video off now so that an ad does not wake you up. However, if not, I just want to say yet again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this series. We will definitely be covering a lot more Metal Gear Solid books in the future, but I'm not sure when that will be. So, thanks again for watching. My name has been Crimson. Have a good evening or a good night, and I'll see you guys in the next video.